Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying.
It's a painting by William Dobson that was painted very early on in his career, most probably before he left London for Oxford during the Civil War years, which is what he's best known for. But it's quite a rarity to come onto the market.
The glorious lamp of heaven, the sun.
There's one other very famous one which is in the Earl of Jersey's collection, which is now on loan to Osterley Park. But otherwise, there's the one in Alnwick. It's one of the earliest known paintings by the artist. It's hung certainly since the early 19th century in Howsham Hall in Yorkshire. There's a portrait of his wife which is now in the Tate, and they were both bought by the same owner, and they belong to the Strickland family. So I think they're probably contemporary and they're the same size, which is interesting, but in terms of visually how they hang, I don't think they hang as a pair. I suspect that they were both done for private reasons and perhaps remained in his studio until he died.
Lost and worst, time still succeeds the former.
Not a great deal is known about his life. He died a very young man, but he's really best known for his work at the court of Charles I during the Civil War. Dobson really steps in at a moment when Van Dyck dies in 1641 and the court sort of opens up, and he then has an opportunity to work for Charles I. His portraits really resonate of the time, and I think he's a very un-Van Dyckian force. And I fear that sometimes he's sidelined into simply being a follower of Van Dyck, when in fact he isn't. I think he's completely his own man, and he's quite a bold, original painter. In terms of his work, I think it's interesting because it's one of the earliest paintings known by him, and you see his kind of starting point, if you like. In terms of the history of British art, he's one of the most important English-born painters. Aubrey, I believe, said of him that he is the greatest painter that England hath yet bred, and I think that absolutely stands to reason.